If you're interested in going out into your garden to find plants to create foraged basket materials, today I'm going to be talking about how to take daffodil leaves and stems and create cordage for basketry. Cordage is a twisted rope-like material that you can use in your basket weaving projects. You can use this in rattan basketry like I do in other videos on my channel, or create other types of baskets from other foraged materials. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to harvest, prepare, and create cordage from daffodil leaves and stems. I invite you to join our email list to get access to our library of free printables. We call it the VIP library. If you sign up for our email, you can use the link in the description below by clicking on the little more below this video. You can sign up for our email list and we send you an email with a password that gets you into the free VIP library. We have a basket weaver's guide that you can print out and use along with your basket weaving projects, as well as some free patterns and some other fiber art related resources like project logs and things that you can print and use in your creative practice. In my area, spring is just around the corner, so I thought it would be fitting to dive into some daffodil harvesting and turning them into cordage because they're going to be popping up here pretty soon. I have harvested some daffodil leaves and stems in previous seasons, and so I'm going to use those to show you how to process and make cordage. The first thing you'll want to do is harvest your daffodil leaves and stems. The best time to do this is after the flowers have faded and the stems have started to turn yellow, before they start to turn brown. So there's a fine line between them decaying too much and them still being green and waxy. So finding a time when there's still some green, there's just some yellow spots on the leaves, you can harvest these, trim them down low to the ground. You don't want to kill your daffodil bulbs, so leave about 1 inch of greenery above the ground so that you can maintain your daffodil bed. And then you can wash these if they are extra dirty, rinse them off in a sink, and then lay them out to dry. You want to lay these out in a very thin layer because they are very moist, especially if you just wash them, and the leaves are very waxy and hold a lot of moisture. So if these are layered out in more than a single layer, they will start to mold. And I did have this happen to me as I was harvesting and drying my leaves, so I know the pain of having harvested a lot and then having lost about half of my harvest from mold and mildew. So laying them out on window screens is ideal because you get airflow underneath as well as above. If you can put them out on some sort of drying rack, they are very flimsy, and as they begin to wilt as they dry, they will fold over. The best way to dry them is dry them out as flat as possible so that you can dry them and then collect them into bundles. Dried bundles that are nice and long can be stored in Rubbermaid tubs or a tub that has some airflow so that you don't trap in any excess moisture. I have stored my dried daffodil bundles in these bundles that I tied with a string on one end to hold them together, and then the length can sit in my tub here. The lid fits loosely, so there's still some airflow. I'm not trapping in any potential moisture in here. And then I can use this material whenever I need to for projects throughout the year. You don't have to use your daffodil harvest right away. It is best, especially if you're going to be making cordage, to dry your materials first and then re-wet them for your cordage. And I'll talk about why here in a few minutes. So go ahead and harvest, allow to dry, and then when you're ready to work on a project, you can pull your leaves or stems out of storage and create your cordage. Now to do this, you're going to take just enough to work on your project for the amount of time that you have available. And you're going to take a towel, get that towel wet with hot water, and lay it out in a bin or on the bottom of a tub, somewhere that the water won't spill out and get everywhere. And then lay your leaves or stems into that towel and fold the towel over top of it. So you create kind of a wet blanket on either side of the leaf. You can also spray the leaves down with some extra water with a spray bottle to add in some extra moisture. Now you're going to leave this bundle overnight to allow the leaves to kind of rehydrate a little bit. When the leaves are dry, they're crumbly and they're going to crack and break on you because they're brittle. We need to soften them up, rehydrate them just a little bit so that we can create the cordage or weave with them the way we want to. Now, the reason you dry your materials first and then you use them for cordage is that when daffodil specifically is fresh, it's very waxy and it holds a lot of moisture, and because of that it's quite brittle. You try to make cordage out of fresh daffodil material, then you're going to struggle with breaking and cracking and have the material start to dry over time and then not be quite as tight or secure. Then you can take that dampened material and it's going to twist a lot better. So you'll be able to create your cordage, which takes some skill to practice, but is a twisting motion that you do to create a thin rope or thick rope, depending on the thickness of your material. Now, daffodil leaves make a slightly thinner rope because the material is a lot finer and the leaves are a little bit more flimsy. The daffodil stalks can make a little bit thicker material, but I find that I like to cut the material in half so that it's not quite as thick, depending on the project you're using it for. So if you just want to play around with cordage and you don't really care what size you start out with, go ahead and split your daffodil stems in half so that you have 2 pieces per stem and play around with that. That might make it a little bit easier on your hands to work with that material, and then you can play around with thicker and having more than one stem at a time. Here I have my rehydrated daffodil leaves. You can see when they fold, they have some nice give to them. They're not cracking. They've got some good texture, so they're pretty well hydrated. I'm going to find one that's fairly long to begin with. And these are a little bit too, I harvested these a little bit too late, so there is some brown on the ends of these, but they'll work just fine for what we're doing today. You'll want to harvest yours when they're still slightly green, not quite as yellow as mine are. So here's a long piece. I'm going to start with this guy. To make our cordage, what we're going to do is take this length and fold it so that it's offset. We don't want it in half. We want one end a little bit longer. And I'm going to hold this folded section between my fingers and start to twist away from me. You want to twist away so that then you can flip this over the top and hold that with your fingers, and then twist the other piece away from you, and then rotate. So I'm catching this one that's underneath with my 2 fingers here, and then rotating it over, and I've got one little twist here. So I'm going to hold this between these fingers so that I can pinch these, twist the upper one, and then grab and switch hands. Twist, grab, and switch hands. Twist, grab, and switch hands. So I'm gaining a little bit of a piece of rope here. You can untwist the ends here. So again, twist away, get a nice tight twist, and then you're going to bring your hand underneath and pull that under, and the piece you just twisted on top. So I'm going to catch that with my other hand, now twist the other piece, catch under, twist over. So it's just kind of bringing your hand from the top and then tucking it underneath to grab that other one, and then switching it underneath or pulling it underneath. So it's a little bit of a hand twisting motion. So if you take your hand and you do this back and forth, that's the motion that we're creating. Just switching, twist and switch, twist and switch, twist and switch. When you get to one of the ends of your pieces, we're going to grab a new length of daffodil leaf, and now take the thinner end. We're going to fold it so that the shorter end lines up with our longest piece, and then tuck it into the gap right there and twist it into the other piece. So now this short piece, these two are going to get twisted together. So I twist and create a little joint right there that holds the two together. The mechanics of twisting away from you, so you're grabbing the one that's on top here, you're twisting it away from you and then bringing it over top, and then twist the other one, bring it over top. That is creating or building up your cordage. You're twisting and then switching, twist and switch, and you're gaining more twists. You can see there I have a light piece and a dark piece, so it's easy to see that building up there. And then if you have little bits like this that are sticking out, you can come in with scissors and trim that down a bit to keep it flush. So I'd come in here, trim this down just a little like that, so that I have a nice piece of cordage. And there I'm starting to get a nice little bundle of cordage in there. That's the basics of creating a cordage from daffodil leaves. Now, if you want to make cordage out of a daffodil stalk, grab a safety pin or a sewing pin and stick it into the end and then strip it along. Guide it along. You're cutting your material in half essentially, using this as a tool to guide down the kind of veins of the stem. So now I've split that into two pieces. I'm going to take one of the pieces, fold this in half and offset it like we did for the daffodil leaves, and then begin to twist. The piece that's on top, twist away and switch, twist away and switch. So you start to see that cordage start to form. Now you can continue making cordage for as long as you want. Cordage is something that I'm relatively new to. I've been exploring different materials and playing around with creating cordage for basket weaving and other projects, mostly just for the novelty of making a rope out of a plant that I can find in my backyard. The difference that I've noticed between the daffodil stalks and the daffodil leaves is, one, the daffodil stalk is a little bit different color. It tends to be more of kind of a green brown. The leaves tend to have more of a yellow green color, brown because I let them go too long in the garden before I harvested them. But if you can harvest them at a good time, then you'll be able to kind of catch that green color, and as they dry, the green fades to kind of a subtle green, sage green kind of color. The stalks are a little bit stronger as a material, and the texture is a little bit more sturdy feeling. The leaves, probably because there's more sap within the leaves or some other element that I'm unaware of, tend to be a little bit stickier, and as you work with them, you'll find your hands becoming a little bit sticky. So washing your hands regularly so you can continue to keep a grip on your material, and just realizing that the leaves are a little bit different, lighter texture. They're not quite as strong, so if you pull on this, it will break. But they do have a nice variegation in color and can be fun to kind of play around with different textures. You get a little bit more shiny texture with the leaves than you do with the stem, so that's another feature to consider as you're making your cordage. Once you've made the length of cordage that you want, you'll want to kind of roll it up in a nice bundle and then allow it to dry. You can rehydrate it again for your weaving projects if you feel that it's necessary, or just start incorporating it into your baskets. As you harvest leaves and prepare materials, consider the fact that you don't make cordage very quickly. So unless you're going to sit down and work pretty steadily for an extended period of time, you don't really need to get a lot damp all at once to work on your cordage project. So picking out 3 to 4, maybe 6 stems to work with at a time is probably a good rule of thumb if you're going to sit down for about an hour or so to make cordage, depending on how fast you get. So consider that, because you don't want to rehydrate and dry out your materials too often, or they will become more and more brittle, which causes the cordage making process to be a little more frustrating. You also don't want to leave them damp for too long, or they will start to mildew in the towel. If you are working on it over the course of several evenings or a weekend, you can put your towel in the refrigerator in some sort of Ziploc bag or container so that it stays damp within your fridge. The chill will keep it from mildewing, and the damp will keep your materials nice and pliable and moist so that you can make cordage over a period of time. You can play around with different thicknesses, combining multiple pieces of daffodil stem or daffodil leaves together to create thicker cordage. You can cut it down with your safety pin or other tool to make it even thinner if you want small cordage. It really is a matter of what your fingers are capable of twisting. I find that if I do this for an extended period of time, my fingers start to kind of cramp up and start to feel tired over time. So I like to do this for a little bit and then take some breaks. Cordage making is a fun way to use materials from your garden or that you're able to forage from roadsides or other places that it's legal to forage from, and create materials for your basket weaving projects and other fiber crafts that you forage the materials yourself. So exploring cordage in a variety of different materials is great fun. Like this video to let me know that you enjoy forage basketry projects and would like to see more of this type of video. Subscribe to my channel to get more in rattan basketry, pine needle basketry, and forage basketry projects. It really helps me to be able to continue making this type of content when you like and subscribe, because it notifies YouTube that this is a valuable channel. So thank you so much for doing that. It allows me to continue making this content for free for you and not have to just put it behind a paywall. So thanks for doing that. Be sure to subscribe to the Textile Indie email list for more content in basket weaving and fiber arts. Again, that's in the description below. We also, along with having a basket weaving guide, we also have a creativity challenge ebook that's free to print out that walks you through a 30-day journey through building your own creative practice, what that means, how to incorporate it into your daily life and be consistent so that you can build your creativity. Thanks for joining me in this video, and I hope to see you in another. Until next time, happy making. See you later.